I'm here to introduce to you about food security. So what actually is food security? According to FAO of United Nations, food security comprises of 4 dimensions, which is availability, accessibility, utilization, and stability of food. So, the United States Agency for International Development, USAID, developed this Household Food Insecurity Access Scale, HFIAS, to indicate the different levels of food insecurity in households. Firstly, food secure. Next, mildly food insecure. Next, averagely food insecure. And lastly, extremely food insecure. As we all know, global human population will reach nearly 10 billion people by the year 2050. So the FAO expects that food production will have to increase by 70% over the same time frame. Sustainable food security means meeting society's present food needs and to ensure a continuous supply of resources without compromising the ability for future generations to meet their needs. We should also sustain food security without leaving enormous environmental footprints. These footprints cause a big effect in climate change, land degradation, water scarcity, deforestation, and others. Next, I will talk about food security in our country, Malaysia. How is our country coping? Malaysia is generally food secure at nationwide level. Our country was ranked at 40 out of a total of 113 countries in 2018 on the Global Security Index. However, there are still families that face food insecurity, as a study shows that 13.4% of adults had downsized the meals and skipped important meals because of financial limitations. This will affect the family, as food insecure households tend to reduce expenditures on the children's education, which directly costs their children from getting any sort of education. Food insecure households will also borrow money to buy food, take food from relatives and neighbors.
When we talk about resources planning strategy in food security, what we need to know is resources planning strategy in food security is used to utilize and allocating the food resources to increase the availability of food so that people can easily to access and utilize the food resources. Therefore, there are 3 strategies that we need to implement to increase the sustainability in food security. The first strategy is implementations of enterprise resources planning, ERP, and the second strategy is master production schedules, MPS, and the last strategy is material required plannings, MRP. First of all, I would like to discuss about how ERP enables to sustain the food security. One of the purposes of food security is to guarantee the safety of the food and ensure every nutrient that hidden in the food that can be fully obtained. Therefore, ERP has the capability to provide accurate production information and keep updating to ensure every information is tallied with any bursting change in regulations and requirements, and just want to make sure the food is clean and achieve the food safety standard. Also, ERP is a very powerful system that can control the quality of the food in every production stage in a very short time. This is because the production operator can guarantee the quality of the foods when ERP display the adjustments on the screens. So the next strategy is material required plannings, MRP. So MRP is able to inspect the current inventory and the availability of required ingredients, as well as calculate the accurate quantity needed in the productions, so that food manufacturer can optimize the inventory levels and reduce the food waste. So the next strategy to increase the sustainability in food security is public food procurement. Generally, public food procurement is a plan that provides market channel to the smallholders and farmers in order to help them to cross the barriers in participating in food procurement markets. Briefly to say, public food procurement is help them to gain more market opportunities and generate more salaries so that they can promote the dietary and healthiness of the household. So next, I would like to talk about how fulfillment can increase the sustainability in food security. There are 4 fulfillment activities that I would like to discuss today, which are receiving, packaging, picking, and shipping. First and foremost, receiving is a very important process and needs to be handled well, because receiving is the first point in the handling process, so have to make sure the cleanliness and the safety of the food. Second, packaging. Packaging is used to protect the food from the bacteria and become a platform for the food labelings and to show the food-related information. Number 3, picking. Picking is also a very significant process because a good picking process that can speeding up the transportation flow. We need to speeding up the transportation flow because the shelf life of the food is very short. Number 4, shipping. We need to make sure the food is always in safety and clean condition during the shipping process until the food is eventually arrive the customer hands. Moreover, I would like to present how safety handling practices that can sustain the food security. So there are 2 important certified practices that can guarantee the quality of the food. Firstly, hazard analysis critical control point, HACCP. So the function of HACCP is to identify the threats that hidden in the food product in the early stage and to measure the preventions and control to ensure the food is safety. The second practice is good manufacturing practice, GMP. So GMP is a practice that requires the food manufacturer to handle the ingredients, the process, the packaging materials safely in order to produce a clean and dirty-free food products to the consumer.
I will continue with strategy management in outbound logistics. Inventory is a lifeblood of a business. Excellent inventory management can be achieved with adopting at least 2 basic principles, which are just-in-time inventory management and safety stock. Moreover, batch and expiry tracking is also pivotal, so the older stock can be sold first, and this concept is called first in, first out, FIFO. Therefore, adoption of AI and automation technology increase efficiency in a firm while time-saving and cost-effective can be achieved. In today's inventory management, using barcode and RFID is a basic, and all the data should computerize and centralize to prevent duplicate record and inaccurate data. Firms can make this data integrated with mobile technology to enhance the accessibility of the data. Next, precise forecast is a significant element in inventory management. There are 2 main ways to forecast future demand, which are qualitative model and quantitative model. Let us move to another element in outbound logistics, warehouse management. Good warehouse layout is a key for an efficient warehouse. For instance, firms can use the maximum height of the building, minimize idle space and seamless stock flow. Proper handling equipment should be used in warehouse to maintain food quality. Setting up of more strategy located local food distribution center is also a strategy for the sustainability of food security. This is because they are near to targeted market and able to respond market demand more quickly and efficiently. The warehouse receipt system enhances food security in a post-harvest value chain. In the warehouse receipt system, crops or raw food material are stored in warehouse and used as a pledge for financing from formal financial institutions. This in return with immediate financing for farmers and allows them to pay back debts accumulated during harvest season. Moving to efficient movement of goods. Automation used in warehouse, for example, robot in picking process and conveyor belts in moving inventory, will increase the efficiency of the movement of goods. Physical linkage are an important element in transporting food supply. For example, if a rural area has no bridges across the river, the crops cannot be transported out from the rural area and accessed by the market. Last but not least, multimodal transportation is encouraged for perishable food shipment. Producers can also work with 3PL, 4PL or even 5PL provider to transport food supply with the highest value of service.
Technology never comes at the first sight when we talk about food. However, the advancement of technology have changed the entire food industry. Technology used to achieve food security cover a wide range, including resources management, harvesting, and even post-harvest practices. The technology used in agriculture is called agrotech. The main purpose of agrotech is to increase agriculture productive while minimizing the impact on the environment. Now, I would like to tell you what technology have been used in different dimensions of food security. First, food productivity. Food productivity can be improved in environmental sustainable manner by adopting technology. Technologies in improved food productivity such as harvesting and transplanting that make rice planting process more productive. Crossbreeding technology that improve crop varieties trait make crops survive under harsh climate. Soil management technology include precise application that increasing yield. Irrigation technology include renewable energy driven pump. Secondly, food access. A key aspect of access to food is to minimize food loss. A variety of post-harvest loss technology such as threshing technology that effectively limit post-harvest loss by improving grain quality and labor productivity. Sentinel wrap technology, a transparent polymer film that can be used for food packaging and help to detect real-time food spoilage, and also food waste tracking application that can greatly reduce food waste. Last but not least, food stability. The environmental condition is one of the main factors that knock down the food stability. Therefore, in order to maintain the crop stability, high precision forecasting techniques such as big data analytics is required. For example, Airway Agrotech company with 1.6 million virtual weather stations that collect huge database is able to predict current and future weather events. Another precise technology, the collaboration between NASA and FuseNet enhance the remote sensing satellite imagery, is also able to predict famine for months in advance. Other than precise forecasting, nanotechnology used to improve conservative of crops that involve hexanols, increase the fruit resistance time and fruit stability.
Policy and governance on food security. Governments are the core actors in the physical, social, and economic aspect of a nation's food security. Consequently, any attempts to improve agriculture and food security results must also consider the role of governments, for it is a two-way relationship, as stable agriculture and food security systems can help to establish stable and transparent governance. This, in turn, contributes to a more comprehensive and effective agriculture and food security system. Governments need to prioritize strategies, policies, programs, and funding to tackle this food security issue. The issue of widespread hunger and more recently the economic crisis and excessive food price instability has truly revealed the fragility of global food security and nutrition mechanisms. The first part of policy and governance is the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. 193 countries adopted the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, pledging to shift the world to a more sustainable and resilient path where no one will be left behind. This agenda is closely related to SDG Goal number 2, which is to end hunger, achieve food security and improve nutrition, and promote sustainable agriculture. Next is the twin-track approach in governance. Both kinds of tracks should be undertaken simultaneously and in a coordinated manner in order to successfully fight food insecurity and progress towards a sustainable way to produce sufficient food. Firstly is the direct action to immediately tackle this issue by paying attention to those who are unable to meet their food requirements. Next, medium or long-term actions can build resilience and address the root causes of food insecurity. Next part is promoting responsible investment in agriculture and food systems. Responsible investment means making a substantial contribution to improving sustainable livelihoods, particularly for smallholders. Responsible investment in agriculture helps to sustainably manage natural resources, increase resilience, and reduce disaster risk by reducing waste and loss in production and post-harvest operations. Lastly, increasing agricultural productivity and production in a socially, economical, and environmentally sustainable manner. It is hard to meet this increased demand for sufficient and nutritious food due to population and income growth while facing decreasing availability and quality of natural resources. Lastly, I will move specifically to Malaysia. I will talk about some policy and plans that can be considered in tackling food insecurity in Malaysia in terms of food availability, accessibility, utilization, and stability. For food availability, perhaps you can organize some agro-entrepreneurship incubation program in local universities, and successful participants can own their own farms. Next, perhaps we can tighten the implementation of land use policy to enhance food security. For example, the Malaysian government should set aside adequate areas of agricultural lands and other natural resources for production. For accessibility, to stock up adequate food supplies is a form of strategic food security as a first line of defense during emergency. Next, we should improve food distribution for the poor. For utilization, tackling food security needs a healthy physical environment and suitable sanitary services. Food safety can also be enhanced by encouraging food safety and nutritional teaching to expand knowledge of people when choosing a safe and adequate diet. Lastly, for stability, agriculture is highly exposed to unpredictable risks and uncertainties. Thus, market risk management should be established to reduce the risk in food production, such as price monitoring and forecasting.
In conclusion, sustainability of food security can be achieved through well management in resource planning, production and operation process, strategy management in outbound logistics, advanced technology in food industry, and policy and governance on food security. Late Kofi Annan, who was a Ghanaian diplomat, said, "If we get agriculture right in Africa, where most of the people now are working in that sector, not only will it help boost development, but we will be secure in terms of food and nutrition, and then be able to move on to other areas. Food security leads to development of a country. Each of us should play our role to improve sustainability of food industry." That's all for our presentation. Thank you for watching. We are from Good JMM.